I started writing my first novel recently, and I think I finally understand why people start writing books but never actually finish them. Before I started, I thought the hardest part of writing a book was literally the writing part, sitting down, typing words, making chapters. But I'm realizing the hardest part is actually fighting my brain throughout the entire process. I looked into one of the many reasons why writers stop writing their novels, and unfortunately, I related to so many of them. Today, I want to talk about the 5 reasons why writers quit their novels. Reason number 1, falling in love with learning. Personally, I've been watching a lot of Brandon Sanderson lectures, Abby Emmons' YouTube videos. I've been reading books about writing. I've been really studying the craft, you guys. And don't get me wrong, all of this is very valuable information, but I've realized that there's a sneaky little thing going on here where learning about writing feels like it's writing, but it's not actually writing. I'll catch myself being like, okay, after this one video, I'll finally understand how to plot right. Or once I figure out the story problem, I'll start writing. Or reading about like how to flesh out your character. And then suddenly you spent about 3 hours learning about writing, but not actually writing. The funny thing is, I feel like I was trying to read and learn my way out of the uncomfortable part, but writing is the uncomfortable part. And at some point, you just have to close the video, close the book, and actually write. Number 2, mistaking confusion for a bad story. There have been many times where I'm just staring at my screen like I don't know what happens next. But that's part of it, you guys. Just because you don't know what happens next doesn't mean you have a crummy story. It just means you haven't discovered what happens next. Confusion does not mean your story is broken. Sit down, keep writing through it. The answer will come. I think it just goes back to the discomfort part of the whole thing. You're allowed to be confused, not have all the answers yet. It's just a part of the process. Reason number 3, comparing your first drafts to a published book. I think this is probably the most unfair thing we do to ourselves, because I will read a book that I love and be like, wow, like this character is amazing. The scene is so beautiful. Then I'll go and sit down and like reread a scene that I wrote yesterday and be like, what the freak, like this is trash. Which doesn't really make sense if you really think about it, because I'm attempting my first attempt to a book that went through like first drafts, second drafts, third drafts, an entire publishing process. I'm literally looking at someone's finished house while I'm over here working through this like pile of like scraps. They're not supposed to look the same yet. Do not compare your first draft to a published book. Reason number 4, believing you need to be inspired every single day to write. I'm definitely someone who struggles with this right now, to this day, even still. I feel like I literally cannot write unless I feel inspired. You know, when you have a new idea and it just feels so fun, you're like, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. You see it so clearly in your head. And then you sit down in front of your computer and you actually start building the thing. Some days it feels amazing, but other days it feels like you're just trying to get words on a page. And I'm learning that just because I don't feel inspired every single time doesn't mean I picked the wrong story to tell. It means I'm writing a novel. Reason number 5, forgetting that published authors struggled too. And I actually find this really encouraging. I think when we see finished books on bookshelves, we forget that every single one started off as a blank page. Every author has had moments where they didn't know what they were doing, where they were still learning. They had sentences that they completely deleted or changed later. I have adopted the fact that the goal of writing my first draft isn't to prove to myself that I'm this perfect writer. It's to become a better writer by writing. So yeah, I completely understand why authors quit, because writing a novel is way more mental than I ever expected. But weirdly, realizing all of these things makes me want to finish even more. Maybe finishing your first novel isn't about avoiding doubt or confusion. It's about expecting those things, but continuing anyway. So that's what I'm gonna try to do. Continue to show up. So now, let's stop talking about writing and go write.